Lil Bro takes their 79th loss.
Vandy, you can see your way to the comma door.
I'm Shea, this is Jace. Welcome to the PCS Volcast. Tennessee wins 36-23 against Vanderbilt. We're going to go over our thoughts, the M&L VPs, and how our predictions held up. We cover the SEC and everything Vols, so please subscribe and like this video if you enjoy the content. Let's jump into our thoughts.
Yeah, so this game, started out really ugly. Probably the worst it could have started for Tennessee. I was watching the game with my family for Thanksgiving, and we just thought the worst. I mean, Vandy took the opening kickoff, 100 yards on the dot to the house, and then 2 plays later, Tennessee, Dylan Sampson actually fumbles. Vandy has a short field and just walks it in pretty much from 26 yards out.
Yeah, I mean, we were both very nervous watching this game because this looked like shades of the 2016 game when we had playoff hopes, and
Yes,
it was ruined by Vanderbilt. And with Diego Pavia, it felt way more likely this time around.
100%. Yeah, I mean, they got out to a 14-0 lead pretty much like before the game had even started. I had, you were talking about previous games, I had 2022 South Carolina worries.
Oh, yeah.
South Carolina, much harder place to play. That game was at night as well. But yeah, that was just about the worst way to start it until we did show some life, and I think we scored the next possession after. The game didn't get too out of hand. I'm kind of happy that they scored that quick because we had time to recover. They didn't take a lot of time off or anything.
Well, we got to see how well we could recover. The college football playoff rankings came out, and we're matched up against Ohio State at the moment. So I think watching this game gave me a little bit of confidence that we can come back from a bad start.
Man, I don't know about against Ohio State. I think I was happy with, 85% of this game, that 15% being that horrible start, and then just a few plays here or there, like the Nico interception. That was, I don't know what he was doing. That was terrible.
Yeah.
But, other than that, we really did outplay them, especially in the second and third quarters. I mean, I think we outscored them 26-0 in the second and third quarter, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so Sampson has his 4th lost fumble on the season. We gave Vandy really good field position, which ended up leading to them, getting that second touchdown, causing us to go down 14-0. And then, Nico came out in that second drive and looked really good.
Yep.
I was happy to see that because it really felt like all of our momentum was just sucked out the window whenever Sampson fumbled that ball. It was just of course, and as soon as we get started, we had seen it so many times. We've literally seen it 3 times before. So
yeah, and that was the first kickoff return touchdown I think we've given up this year. So I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
But the Sampson fumbling is something I'm worried about because we've seen that pretty consistently throughout this year. And as Sampson has gotten a lot more opportunity this year as our lead back, he has had a fumbling problem. That's really the only flaw that he has. If there's any reason why, whatever committee votes on the, National Players of the Year, the best running back award, Sampson was not on that list as a semifinalist, which was a joke in my opinion. I mean, he has been one of the best running backs all year, and I guess that was the reason, his fumbling issues. But Sampson as a whole was really good in this game other than that fumble because, jumping ahead here to the fourth quarter, I was just kind of, I was paying attention to the Ohio State-Michigan game a little bit more, but the stat flashed up that he had 150 yards already.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
No, yeah, he had 25 carries for 178 yards, no touchdowns. I think he was 10 games strong or something crazy like that.
And I think his chances of getting the all-time SEC record, or single season record, is probably done. It's probably done in the UTEP game.
Yeah.
But he broke another record. He broke the single season Tennessee rushing record. So yeah, we'll take that. I mean, that's equally as, if not more impressive, I guess, than the touchdown record.
And then the other highlight of our offense was definitely Thornton.
Yes.
The stats do show it, but he could have had an even bigger game if Nico doesn't have some terrible looking throws. But Thornton with 3 receptions, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean,
Those are like those Randy Moss stats where it's like all of his catches are touchdowns.
Yeah, true.
This whole season, whenever Thornton gets the ball, like Tennessee's going to score it somewhere or another. He has been kind of our wild card, if you will, a really good deep threat guy. I feel like he'd even be more effective if Nico and some of our other receivers would have stepped up more this year. But he's really been kind of our leading threat at receiver this whole year.
Yeah, let's talk about that one Nico pick. I mean, it was literally just terrible. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. He had time. He wasn't under pressure or anything.
Thornton was open. He was wide open.
Thornton was wide open. And he just underthrew him just terribly. Thornton didn't even have a chance to get the ball.
It looked like the Vandy guy was running the route. I mean, he underthrew it and threw it too much to the inside. Yeah. If you throw more of a back shoulder, a little bit more air on it, that's another touchdown for Thornton. That's 300 yards or something on the game.
But, despite our offensive turnovers, I mean, the defense was put into some tough positions, and they bailed us out almost every time.
Yep.
Besides the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, Vandy put up 23 points in this game, which is way more than, our defense actually allowed. But, yeah, no, I was really happy with our defense. We were kind of a little bit worried about what Pavia would do and his connection with Stowers. They were both pretty much, obsolete in this game. Pavia did nothing through the air at all this game. All of Vandy's receivers had one reception except for Junior Sherrill, who actually did have a pretty good game. He had about 4 receptions and then obviously that kickoff return. But even with his legs, Pavia wasn't really doing a whole lot. He only had 11 carries for 45 yards, which is about 4.1 a pop. Which, I mean, I thought they should have ran him more. I thought that was their best chance to kind of come back and win it. But yeah, I mean, we did an amazing job on everybody, except for Junior Sherrill and Cedric Alexander at times. But yeah, we did the job on defense.
Yeah, that's what to say. Our run defense was not perfect this game at all, but it did the job, like you said. And
it's hard to guard Vandy's run attack. They're pretty good at that.
And with Pavia having 11 carries as well, that actually feels like a low number. I thought he would have had a lot more because it felt like he was getting hit just kind of constantly. He was taking hits every chance he could. He was looking for him. But for the most part, we really kept him, in front of us, and he didn't score any touchdowns with his legs, and he got that one touchdown in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is one of Pavia's worst games of the season. I'm proud to say that because we were expecting a big game from him.
We were. If they were going to win, it had to have been Pavia. And Stowers, he did nothing. He had one catch at the beginning of the game, and he literally did nothing the whole rest of the game.
I was really nervous when I saw that, though.
I did too, yeah, because I thought they were going to get it rolling. But, hey, I mean, our linebacking core and our safeties, the guys that we, kind of harped on, they stepped up this game.
Yeah, especially McCoy.
Yeah.
Dude, that was his best pick of the season. That's probably, top 5 most beautiful picks on the season in general.
In the country. I mean,
in the country,
there's a picture where Jamal McCoy has his back to the ball. And then a second later, McCoy's on his back with the ball in his hands. I mean, it was just insane concentration. Yeah. That was just an NFL play, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got great ball skills.
Yeah.
He could probably play receiver for us next time we go down to our 3rd and 4th stringers,
Maybe.
But
they had him returning a punts earlier this year. That didn't really work out that well, but,
Yeah, true.
But hey, I think Jamal McCoy next year is a first-team All-American in the country. He is so good. He actually was our top PFF graded defensive guy this week. So, I mean, he just had a good game all around, even outside of that pick. So, yeah, we were talking about Pavia earlier. If you look at, the box score, he doesn't have a lot of volume in either rushing or passing, and that's because of our offense, actually, believe it or not. Because in the 3rd and 4th quarter, we basically didn't let them get the ball. We had 2 13-play drives, a 10-play drive, and a 9-play drive. And Vandy only had 3 drives, 11 plays total the entire second half. I mean, we did an outstanding job keeping the ball away from them and just kind of doing what we wanted to do on offense. We knew that their defense was pretty bad, a little bit comparable to Mississippi State's defense. But, yeah, I mean, we were just kind of able to handle them and do whatever we wanted to, really the second quarter on.
That's pretty surprising to me because the coaching was a little annoying this game, in my opinion. We saw a screen on 2nd and 15. I mean, that's fair. It's second down. But I guess you're really banking on Vandy not being able to tackle your receiver. But if you watch the play, it didn't work out. I mean, maybe 5 yards to set up a 3rd and long. And then we saw a 3rd and 13.
Yeah.
What does Heupel call? A run up the middle with Bishop. What are we doing?
Yep. I know we were going to talk about that here, right, because they called that in the game.
Yeah. Just why are we not giving it to Sampson on 4th downs? We gave it to Kitzelman. I mean, that's a surprise play, but we have one of the best backs in the nation. We might as well use him.
That was pretty concerning. That play and then the play they scored their first touchdown on, they moved us on the line of scrimmage on those 2 plays.
Yeah.
And that was definitely concerning, but that wasn't really a problem thereafter.
Yeah, speaking of moving, we had a bunch of penalties as well. We had 13 in this game. I mean, if y'all seen any of the videos, you know how I feel about Josh Heupel being able to discipline these people. I don't think he can at all. He shows it every week. It's up to him to really just enforce it into their minds. They cannot be having all of these mental errors so frequently.
We've seen our offense kind of play inconsistently this season. We've seen them at their worst. We've seen them at their best. But penalties hasn't really changed. Penalties has pretty much been consistently bad all season. And, if we match up against Ohio State, which we probably are, like if we fumble and have a bunch of penalties, there's 0 chance we'll win. It just has to get adjusted, at least by next year, if we want the Nico era to mean something nationally.
So now let's talk about our M and LVPs. Starting for Tennessee, the MVP is probably the defense. I was really happy with how they were able to not allow the score to get out of hand. They kept it at 17 for, until garbage time. And we got to give them a lot of credit for that.
Yep.
But like you said, some of that deserves to go to the offense as well. But again,
I actually think a lot, like the defense, I agree with you. The defense was the star of the show in this game because our special teams and our offense put our defense at a disadvantage. I mean, you were talking about that earlier, and our defense really just stepped up, and our defense allowed our offense basically to come back in this game.
Yeah. And then the other one I had for Tennessee was Dante Thornton. Like I said earlier, his stat line was amazing. It could have been even better. I was just really happy to see him be the deep threat that he's been all year in this game as well, because I need him to have that confidence going into the playoffs.
For sure. Yeah, he's been one of or probably one of the most efficient receivers in the country. His yards per reception are through the roof. His reception to touchdown ratio is probably through the roof as well. I really just had our offense as a whole. Nico didn't play perfect, and I think that maybe his stats were a little bit inflated, just by like Thornton, his run after catch. But I'm not trying to take anything away from him. Nico had one of the best games of the season for him. I mean, Sampson, Thornton, is really just everyone on offense. Specifically Thornton, though, because we didn't really see a lot of other receivers. Brew got hurt at the beginning of or before the game. Squirrel got hurt during the game. Kitzelman and Mike Matthews got a touchdown. So I think our whole offense just played well this game.
Yeah, the bright side to all of our receivers getting injured was being able to see Mike Matthews come out there, and he looked fine. I mean, nothing special, but he definitely wasn't bad. He got
that touchdown at the end, and oh my God! I mean, I'm happy that Thornton had a good game. He's a senior, so. Yeah. But on that play, on that like 86-yard slant play, Mike Matthews was butt naked, wide open, going down the sideline. Like that was the easiest touchdown in Nico's life. But yeah, I was happy that Mike Matthews was able to come in there and get a touchdown. And then my other MVP was Jermon McCoy. I have to give him some love. He has been my favorite player all season. Mm-hmm. And as I said, I think he's going to be a first-team All-American next season. He had that insane interception. And then, as I said earlier, the highest PFF grade on our team this week.
And then for Vandy, for their MVP, I said Junior Sherrill. He started off the game hot for them. They rode that momentum into their next possession, which got them up to 14. And I don't know, he looked like a great athlete out there that was playing up to our level. So
yeah, he was doing all he could. Vandy's offense really couldn't do anything unless we gave them short fields. And obviously that kickoff return touchdown, like that gave them a lot of juice at the beginning of the game and definitely worried Tennessee fans at the beginning.
And then LVPs, I said Vandy's offensive efficiency. Junior Sherrill, he can't do it all. All right, so.
Yeah. And if he's having to do it all for you, you're screwed.
Exactly.
Because he's like a good player, but,
Yeah, so he's no Mike Matthews, right?
Right, of course.
So we really contained Pavia. Their run game, wasn't too bad, but still they only averaged 4.1 yards per carry. So just their offense in general was very inefficient. Anytime, like Jay said, anytime they were near their own end zone, they were just, you didn't have any confidence that they'd be able to go down the field.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to be the LVP for Vandy.
I agree, and I had a few Vandy offensive players. One was Eli Stowers. He just was non-existent for the most part of this game. We were really worried about him. I mean, he's been their best pass catcher all year, and we just took him away. So credit to Tim Banks and our defensive guys on that one. And then I also just said Pavia through the air. He was extremely, as you said, inefficient. I mean, half of his completions were to Junior Sherrill. He was 8 for 17. Yeah, I mean, he did throw that one pick, which was very unfortunate because that's only a pick like one time out of 10 because Jeremiah McCoy's insane. But yeah, he was again as inefficient. And then my third LVP for Vandy is their secondary. Dante Thornton torched them. Nico torched them. They didn't really do anything to help Vandy win this game at all.
And then for Tennessee, this one might be a little bit obvious, but the discipline, the penalties was just horrendous as usual. It's our most consistent trait, like you said earlier, and they consistently had zero discipline again this game.
I will say it did get a little bit better in the second half. There weren't as many detrimental penalties. It was just kind of hit here and there, ticky-tack stuff. Yeah. But I mean, I think we were a little bit rattled at the beginning of the game, understandably so, and the penalties definitely contributed to that quite a bit. And then my Tennessee LVP was just their late game injuries. I was yelling at my TV for Heupel to take everybody out. If Sampson goes down with a serious injury, we're hosed against whatever playoff team we have to play. Squirrel also went down. Yeah. Thornton got hurt at some point in the game. Brew got hurt pregame. So, we were down to Chaz Nimrod and company on the receiving core. And, it's just – you just want to get hurt when you're probably, 99% going to win against Vanderbilt. So, I think they are all okay, though.
What about Brew, though? Him, too?
Yeah, I mean, you hope so. We don't have to play again for 2 or 3 weeks, so that does give us time to recoup, rediscipline ourselves, I guess, prepare for assumingly Ohio State. But that is the one advantage of being a lock for the playoff without having to play a conference championship game, although I wish we were there. But yeah, I expect us to be as close to fully healthy as possible come our playoff game.
And then as you can see here, Jason and I predicted the game before it happened. We do this every week with every game through the PCSonline.com. If you don't know, the PCS is a very fun and simple way for you and your friends to do the exact same thing, which is just predict the final score of the game, and at the end, you'll get a prediction score that you compare with your friend. So, for instance, I predicted 27-20. You and I, we both had good predictions here. Mm-hmm. This came out to a B+ for me. It was a 69 prediction score, which is nice, I guess. And like I said, a B+ I'll take. It's probably, it feels like that's what I get every single week. And this was the final game of the season, which is sad because it's especially sad because I ended up with over 1,200 points on the year, which averaged out to 116 a week, which came out to a B-. But hey, as long as it's not a C, I'll take it.
Yeah, B- is good. I think you were talking about earlier about the B+. We shouldn't take those for granted because at the beginning of the season, we were doing horrible.
We were doing really bad.
We had some 100s, some 200s in there. That was bad.
Yeah, we had some 200s in there.
My prediction for this week was 30-28, which is actually pretty close. That safety at the end of the game didn't really help me too much, but that garbage time touchdown did, so I was happy about that. 30-28 gave me a B+ grade and a 62 prediction score. So I have averaged 105 PCS points this season, which also comes out to a B-, but it was a little bit better of a B- because I had 1,086 PCS points on the year to Shea's 1,228. Yeah. So that means that I'm officially the 2024 PCS champion.
All right, give
PCS
it up.
Volcast.
Yep.
Give it up.
It's called the PCS Volcast, so that's got to mean something.
What do I win?
A kiss on the.
All right.
On the. on
the cheek. No, the cheek.
Oh,
we're
yeah,
a PG.
yeah,
we're a PG channel. That's the cheek's fine. The cheek's fine.
You know, if I didn't mention, a 0 is a perfect score.
Mm-hmm.
So us complaining about 200s, you know, that's we're getting
bad.
into F territory. So again, yeah, let's not take for granted our B pluses.
So yeah, we really appreciate y'all watching this first ever PCS Volcast season. You know, this is our first time ever doing content like this, and we really appreciate y'all's support. And yeah, we're gonna continue for basketball season. Once the SEC play starts, we're gonna keep cranking out videos for that. So yeah, we're really excited for that. And yeah, we'll continue to make videos on basketball and football in the coming seasons.
Yeah, you know, we had a lot of fun doing this, so we appreciate you guys sticking around to watch all these videos. We've been growing each video.
Yeah.
You know, each one we do something a little bit different. You know, but right now in Tennessee, it's finals week, so the video production and release is going to slow down just a little bit.
Yes.
We're probably looking, you know, about a week or so until we'll be covering the playoffs, but we will be covering the playoffs.
Yes.
You know.
Then the actual bracket will be out, so we can make our predictions for every
Yeah.
game. We can, you know, see how far Tennessee's going to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So stick around for that. Again, we do the SEC and everything Vols, so basketball season's coming up. Playoffs are coming up. Still a bunch of stuff to stick around for, so subscribe. Don't miss out. Like the video if you enjoyed the content. This has been Shea and Jace.
Go Vols!
Go Vols!